I thought he would want me to finish school before sending me our firstborn Henry, she said. We plan, God laughs. Fuck off. What is up, people? Welcome back or to another video. For those of you who are new around here, a very warm welcome. I'm super grateful for you to come and join us in this child-free living space. Now, I've been seeing this story on repeat, so I was like, your girl might need saving right about now, so I could not help myself but read a little bit more into it. But if you haven't seen the stories yet about influencer Hannah Neeleman, aka also known as Ballerina Farm, all across social media, then go and check it out, because I believe, well, a lot of people actually believe this girl is trapped and that she needs saving and everything like that. Now, whether you do believe that or not, I'm going to be going into her part of the story a little bit more, reading some snippets about an article that went viral about her lifestyle, where she lives on a farm in Utah with her 8 children and her husband. Now, for those of you who are new around here, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a massive thumbs up. It really helps push this content out for those people out there who are looking for a child-free community like so. And for those veterans who have been around here a little bit longer and you're looking for that little thing extra special and a little more unhinged, then please feel free to click join down below for my brand new membership, Unhinged, named accordingly. And if you click on that link down below, if you click on the join button down below, you'll see everything that is accessible for you guys. So, cut a long story short, before I get into the article, Hannah Neeleman was in fact an aspiring ballerina. So she was actually enrolled at Juilliard, I believe, and she was aspiring to be a prima ballerina. She had all the talent, she was in the right environment. And then of course she met her husband. And you know how the story goes. I've said this in other videos before. It's always, then I met a man, or then I met someone who changed my mind, or whatever. And then kind of steered off the path of her ballerina dreams. But this is her side of the story. Now, I do know there's always 2 sides of the story. According to herself, this was, you know, her choice. You know, she went into this marriage. She decided to have 8 kids. She decided to move to the middle of nowhere and raise kids on a farm. Each to their own. If that's so-called what you want to do in life, by all means, go ahead and do it. However, what the argument was is a lot of people who were reading the article were saying, like, this just sounds like she was coerced. This sounds like she was forced into it. This sounds like her husband, you know, ripped away her dreams and everything like that. While Hannah's social media content portrays an idyllic lifestyle, the profile revealed a somewhat different reality, as Daniel spoke about the mum of 8 experiencing bouts of exhaustion and raising her family without childcare at his request, prompting viewers to question how much of her life on social media is romanticized. Now, I've said this before, a lot of social media posts are, of course, romanticized. You know, they are looked at through a kind of rose-tinted lens, if you will. And of course, nobody wants to be a negative Nancy on social media. They want to prove to the world that, hey, look how amazing my life is. And we all know for a fact that when it comes to motherhood specifically, and a day in the life with a toddler, or a day in the life of a twin mum, or all of these accounts that I've come across as well, it is portrayed as the perfect lifestyle. It is portrayed as like, hey, look at me, I'm doing so fantastic, like I've got this amazing life. Now, I know that she's married to a very rich guy. I believe he's the CEO of like JetBlue or something, or the son of the CEO of JetBlue or something like that. So, you know, I know that her kids aren't going to be going hungry anytime soon. So of course, when people are in situations like this, then it's like, well, yeah, of course you live an idyllic lifestyle, because I mean, you never really have to worry about money. That's for sure. But your average Joe is not going to be able to have that kind of lifestyle, no matter how much they wished and prayed. Even if they wanted 8 kids, they more than likely wouldn't be able to have that kind of lifestyle. So it again, it brings up the argument of like, you know, what kind of lifestyle are you portraying to us, and what kind of lifestyle are you actually living? It was when I read the part about her wanting a trip to Greece for her birthday, and instead her husband bought her a fucking apron, that was when I was like, something's not quite matching up here. And I suspect that may have been the case for other readers and the ones who are sharing the story all over Instagram, all over Facebook and TikTok and God knows what else. And these are the posts which are going viral. And this is why people are starting to read between the lines and actually question, like, hang on a minute. is she actually trapped? Is she beyond exhausted? Is she being forced? Is she being like, you know, into this kind of stuff? Because, I mean, I've said this before, you know, you're not exactly short on money. So it's not as if you can't afford the trip. Even if you took all of your kids, you can still afford that trip to Greece, because your wife has said several times that's her dream. And you've gone and bought her the most pathetic gift ever. Like, your wife deserves a break. She's literally breaking her back every day, raising 8 kids single-handedly, because also the husband is refusing any help, which not really sure on the reason why. Again, you're not short on coin, so what's the fucking problem? But I just don't get it. It seems like after all of these things were put together, no wonder so many people were reading the article and being like, oh, actually, this sounds a bit sus, because hang on a minute, there's too many red flags in this page. Like, there's too many red flags in this post. I mean, she seems to get pregnant straight after the other kid. There seems to be like no more than a year between each kid, which I can't even think about how beyond exhausting that is when those kids are all running around, not to mention the pressure on your body. But this is the exact reason that people have now said, hang on a minute, this doesn't really sound like a lifestyle choice. This sounds a bit more like it's you know, a pressure situation. Later, Hannah said, my goal was New York City. I left home at 17 and I was so excited to get there. I just loved that energy, and I was going to be a ballerina. I was a good ballerina, but I knew that when I started to have kids, my life would start to look different. Maybe, you know, when I read this, I was thinking like, maybe she didn't expect to have that many kids. Maybe she just thought, oh, we'll have like 2 or 3. And then before you know it, you've got 8. And because they're literally born within 5 seconds of one another, I don't know, maybe they're starting to lose track of how many kids they actually have. And I genuinely don't know how they keep up with all their birthdays, how they even remember, you know, important stuff like this, how they even pay each one of them the attention that's required, because clearly nobody else is helping them, from what I gathered from the article as well. So honestly, I just felt this was a little bit, unless it's been highly exaggerated for entertainment purposes, which may be the case. Obviously, she's very popular on social media, but I can see why, because like we said before, it's all romanticized. It's made to look like, oh, look at our perfect little family. And I'm sure they're all amazing and the kids look healthy. But I mean, there are questions that are getting asked around here now. I also read somewhere, I don't know if it was in this specific article, but I did read somewhere that apparently she met her husband at like a match or a game of some sort. I think it was a baseball game. And I always sometimes think, I was like, oh, I wonder if that meeting had like never happened before, like where she would be, like, would she be on stage? Would she be performing and stuff like this? Because she obviously had the talent there, the work ethic to actually become a prima ballerina. Like she even said, I was a good ballerina. She knows her strengths. She knows her talents. She was fully aware of what was available to her, but boom, she went and met this guy and, well, deviated from that plan. And I do understand that I do understand that life sometimes, you know, the sayings that people say like, oh, life has different plans for you. Or some people say God has different plans for you. Oh, fucking hell. I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in that shit. If you want to know more about my content on religion and stuff like that, I've kept it in my membership because it is unhinged and it's the perfect place for it. But I do know that people's plans deviate sometimes, and people are like, oh yeah, I plan to do this and then this happened, and you know, I plan to like become a doctor or go to medical school or become a lawyer, and then oh my god, I fell pregnant. And it's like, but you had this plan, like this was your dream. Your plan was to go to A, do B, and then you'd obviously have kids afterwards. That's fine. Ballerinas, from what I know in their careers, they kind of retire quite early. And when I say early, I mean like they're quite young. So young enough to have kids still. Why did the whole fucking dream need to go out of the window? Like you could have had a decent career as a ballerina. You probably would have started retiring around 25, 26 from my knowledge, because that's when ballerinas are technically old. And then you would have had more than enough time to have all the fucking kids you wanted. Even if you did want 8 kids, you still had time. You would have been 26, 27, more than enough time to have kids. So why does it have to be the whole entire dream has to go out of the window? All I can think in my head is just a prime example again of men oppressing women. In this case, that's the case. It was the man oppressing the woman. Like, no, how dare you live your dreams? You're going to come live with me in the fucking arse end of nowhere. You're going to feed my chickens and milk my cows. and I'm going to keep you pregnant every 9 months. It's just a little bit cringe. When asked if the couple plans their pregnancies, Daniel answered first, saying no. Hannah added it is a matter of prayer for her, after which Daniel interjected, but for whatever reason, it's exactly 9 months after a baby that she's ready for the next one. Like, ugh. It's definitely a matter of prayer, she said again. Daniel added, it's a matter of prayer, but somehow it's exactly 9 months. Like, also, he just keeps interjecting. Like, she'll say something and he has to go over it because he knows best. Like, that whole matter of prayer, like, you can't say shit like that to me. I'm just gonna roll my eyes back into my head. They're gonna fall into my ass. Hannah wrote that marrying Daniel just months after meeting him was the best decision she ever made. The influencer noted that she and Daniel had both always wanted big families, so they left it in God's hands. I thought he would want me to finish school before sending me our firstborn Henry, she said. We plan, God laughs. Fuck off. You could have finished your school. You had more than enough opportunity to do that. You could, like I just said before, you could have had both. You could have had the career. You would have had more than enough time to pop your kids out afterwards. But you know, people always say this. I don't understand. Sometimes when plans deviate, people are like, oh, well, God has other plans for me. And if you believe in God, okay, fine. If you believe God has other plans for you and that's genuinely what you believe, fine. But honestly, I can't get this around my head personally. And it was when I read this properly that I was like, no, it just sounds like you're baby trapped. Like, for me, the bottom line is, I don't care which God you believe in or who you fucking pray to. It just sounds to me like you're hella baby trapped. And now you're kind of, you can't possibly look at something, an opportunity like that you let pass you by and be a little bit regretful. Like, come on. I know your kids probably bring you a lot of joy, but hopefully I actually wish for this woman that she gets to go to Greece and she gets that holiday and she gets time away as well, because I actually felt quite sorry for her, but it's almost like she was kind of trying to cover up a little bit. Like, she probably doesn't want people to think that she's moaning or that she's ungrateful, which I totally get. Not that she would sound like that anyway, but I want to know what you guys think. Like, do you think the story is just exaggerated? Do you think we actually need to go and save Ballerina Farm from her life, as everybody on social media was saying? I'd love to hear from you guys. For those of you who would like to reference the article, I will, of course, leave it in the description box. As always, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a massive thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.